afternoon. Welcome to our program, Consciousness in Evolution. My name is Ana Yogan, and I'm here receiving Eduardo Martins, which is a very interesting man. He's going to bring us several subjects for us today. So, Consciousness in Evolution is a project from Reaprendência International, a consciential-centric institution dedicated to re-education and personal evolution, including but not limited to self-research, paranormality, and bioenergies. Today, we are going to talk about consciential powers. Since times immemorial, humankind has struggled to deal with power in a healthy and ethical way. How can we overcome the power of competition that results only in submission and colonization of the other? Is there a path towards cooperation and tolerance? What are the powers experienced from inside us? What guides our life choices and decisions? To answer to all these questions and many more, we are going to have Eduardo Martins, which is a Brazilian graduated in medicine, is specialized in cardiology, and he has been a volunteer of conscientiology since 1994. In 2006, he authored the book Consciential Hygiene, recently translated into English and available for you. In 2009, he co-authored the book Guidelines for Existential Self-management, unfortunately only available in Portuguese now. Between 2019 and 2022, he was the chairman of UNIESCON, the International Union of Conscientiology Writers, where he currently volunteers. So without further ado, let's welcome Eduardo
Hi,
Martins.
Anna. Hi,
Hi.
everyone. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And let's see if I can answer all these questions.
Yes, I promise. So you better do.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. Okay, so can I start? I think I can start now. Well, my object of research is now at this moment consciential powers, and the book I'm writing at this moment is the name is Homo sapiens para politicólogos. Homo sapiens para politicólogos. Homo sapiens para politicólogos is the issue that it's linked with my past, with my personality, hollow personality, and it's research of to a seriaxology theme because this issue is very important for my process and two for the group process. The conscienciology group is a issue very interesting. At this moment, I can't see my slides. Anna, are you there? The second one? Can you pass the second one? Yeah, thank you. So I think the main point here it's to understand this principle of conscienciology, that is the principle of disbelief. So we always say in conscienciology, don't believe in anything, not even what you learn in this class. Experiment, have your own experiences. Why? Because I'm not a mastermind here of the issue, and I'm a research, so I have many more doubts than certainties. So I'm not the guy that here you have to believe in this way of see the question, to believe on me, but to question, to make questions to understand this issue. So this it is another point very important to understand. So let's make questions, but not and receive the answers not like in religion, for example, that the priest says and everybody say amen. Here we don't say amen and we don't think amen. We think that, oh, let me see if what this guy is saying is correct. Let me see if it makes sense for me. And if it's not make sense, bye bye. You can need to continues to listen this live or this webinar. Okay. So Anna, can we have another slide, please? Okay. Defining power. So you can make a reflection about this issue, because power is a many is a issue of the past. All the time, all the civilizations studies the power. So the power of the kings, the power of the bishops, the power of the priests, the pope, the power of the pope. And power is a problem and is a solution. It depends on the way and the angle, and you see that you see the question. So power, if you see what Norberto Bobbio is, a great philosopher and famous Italian famous philosopher, Bobbio said, power designates the ability or possibility to act, to produce effects. It can be referred to individuals or human groups, as well as to natural objects or phenomena. So Bobbio explains that power assumes its most complete definition in the social sense when man begins to exercise power over man himself, man's power over man. So to understand power from the angle of social, you have to have another person, to exercise your power. For Bobbio and for sociology, you have to do a group, or you have to be inside of in the group, or at least one person together with you, so you exercise your power. Social power is the ability that a father or mother has to give orders to his children, or the ability of a government to give orders to its citizens. So it's important to understand power from the conventional paradigm, okay, of mechanicist paradigm, because power depends on the people that is together with you in your group, in your family, where you are. Hobbes also cites Hobbes, the book Leviathan, and Gumplowitz, and Hobbes says, the power of a man, universally considered, consists in the means at his disposal to achieve in the future some evident good, which can be either original, natural, or instrumental. So you have to understand power like something that possibility that you can achieve something, or material something, or conquest like professional, like a level of professional you achieve. You have power to become the boss in your company, and in other ways you have power to achieve something outside of you. So power, the original concept of power, doesn't talk or doesn't say any words about inside your consciousness or about your attributes that we'll talk later. So this is some words about power from Norberto Bobbio and what sociology understands about power. Okay, Anna, can you have another one? So I want to pay attention in these words: ability or possibility to act. So when you are talking about power, we are talking about action. So you are acting, you are doing your best, using one ability that you have to achieve something. So let's understand power as something like dynamic, okay? It's not static. Power is not static. Power is something that moves you to any way, any target that you want to put for you. Okay, let's see the next one. Okay, if power is something that is outside of your consciousness, that's the different, and that's the point that we want to sum in this issue. We want to talk now about consciential power. That is the self empowerment, self development of your attributes, of your qualities, of your abilities. So, consciential power is the faculty of self determination of a consciousness regarding one's own life and destiny. As we have seen, the word power designates the capacity or possibility of acting or producing effects. We can think about these semantics and put on the glasses of the consciential paradigm, producing effects also on oneself, intraconsciential effects, not only objective, external effects. In other words, we are talking about self empowerment. This is the synthesis of the difference between temporal human power and consciential power under the light of the consciential paradigm. Power interphysical dimension can be studied and approached from different perspectives: individual, psychological, emotional, rational, animal, and essentially sociological and group. In other words, as Bob said, without those being led, no one exercises power. That is conventional human and social power. Power, as it is known in human life, in order to be exercised, needs at least one other person, while power oneself, as previously mentioned, arises from the consciousness paradigm. And power, consciential power comes from your consciousness, from inside to outside. I don't need like a stadium to talk to many people to show my power, my ability of communication, or my ability to convince everybody, my energy, my glamour of my personality, to convince. No, this is the conventional power. The consciential power sometimes is a silence. You use your consciential power alone, for example, inside your room, moving your energy, for example, doing a great reflection about one issue or a problem or what a weak trait or a strong trait, So you are in a position that you can reflect, and you don't need anybody to develop your consciential power. So I think we can.
I'd like
Anna,
to
go ahead.
bring a simple example. I practice yoga for more than 20 years, and yoga has a different perspective
I
from
sorry,
modern.
but it's important just to say that Anna yoga. So Anna
Yes,
do
that's right.
yoga.
I have yoga in the name.
That's it.
Right. You catch me. You caught me.
I
But
can't lose
anyway,
this. I can't lose this joke. Sorry about that.
oh, yes. So,
Okay, go
anyways,
ahead.
what I think it's very interesting and what I like to do this kind of workout is because when you are practicing the positions and so on, you don't have to compare yourself to your peers. You have to compare yourself to who you were in the last class. And if you achieved something better, than you had before. And then I assume that whenever you are doing with something like a consciential power, it's something from inside, and you don't have to compare yourself to anybody. It's just about you and yourself, right?
Anna, yes, Anna, and see what complex is what you are saying. Remember Olympic Games
Oh,
that
yeah.
finished 1 week ago?
Yeah.
Olympic Games is the competition of
At the
the
highest level.
extreme competition, the
Mhm.
gold medal. You are the best. You win the other is a loser. You are a winner.
Yeah.
And this
And you
kind
know
of
what I think it's even worse? It's because these are the games of our society now, which in the past were wars. In the past, we had wars that would have the winner of the war that would colonize the other cultures, that would dominate other people. And since we don't have wars, we have games. And the games are kind of and the sports kind of substitute the wars for the people
sure,
that have necessity
sure.
of power, right?
Sure, and the personality, the temperament is the same. So you are not anymore in a war, but you
Mhm.
are fighting with your
Fiercely, with
instincts, you
everything you
know,
have.
the same way as you were in a war. you
Mhm.
know so Olympic games, or the games and the competitions in the society today, is a way to put people that needs to compete,
Mhm.
needs, like in the war.
Mhm.
But this is a next level of evolution, because now they are not killing
They are not as violent
anybody.
and they don't kill anybody. Yeah, so it's a
No,
little better. Hmm.
it's a little bit better, but you are saying that the power, the empowerment, is a process, I think, many levels above, because it's not just killing anybody anymore, any people. We're not talking about killing. We're not. We are talking about safe, and we are about to talk to mobilize energies, to pacificate the world and
Exactly.
the relations. And if I have a self, a competition self, extreme competition self, I can't release pacifically energies, or
Hmm.
pacific energies, because my energies, it's too competitive.
Hmm.
So when you understand, in my book Consciential Hygiene, I talk about a competition that I organized in Belo Horizonte, is a city, a capital city in Brazil, from Minas Gerais. In Belo Horizonte, we have many kinds of um, hospitals, and I'm trying to get better in my consciousness. I was a competitive guy in tennis, to play tennis. I played tennis many years in my life, and now I stopped like 5 years ago. But in that years, I was in crisis with my competitive ego, and I decided to organize a tennis competition in Belo Horizonte, but it's not a competition, a tennis player with another against another tennis player. It's like Copa Davis. Have you heard about Copa Davis?
Hmm.
Copa Davis. Davis is a cup in the world that tennis players get together uh, to play against another team. It's not one against one. It's a competition too, but you put together people to play. To
Hmm. It's
and I
not
remember,
uh,
yeah, I remember that the Olato theme of the championship was a Pacifically Olotocine.
that's
And the guys, the doctors, because it was many hospitals playing against other hospitals, like Copa Davis. And I remember the 2 days, the weekend that the doctors were playing, they said, "Wow, Eduardo, it's a great atmosphere here. I don't know what's going on. And I said, I don't understand too. I want to understand. But it's this kind of weak trait, for example, competition or competitive, the ego, competitive ego is millennial.
Oh, yes.
It's,
So many lives that we had.
many lives. So I'm very aware that I can't move or I can't change. Like, oh, I do a
It's not an
penta.
overnight change. It's like an
No,
overtime. It
no.
requires a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm writing this book right now, Homo sapiens para Politicólogos, with this purpose. It's to understand in my mind the logical way of the change of this weak trait. How
And
to
it's
change.
interesting when we write in conscientiology because we write about things that we are achieving. And that possibility creates other links to people that have that same trait. They can also recycle that trait in a positive way because it's a self example that leads all the process. And if I am not mistaken, self example is a part of your slides as well, right? So let's
Yes,
get
yes.
back there.
Let's go there.
Okay.
Okay, consciential power. Okay, let's see the next. Great. I think this was for me. I was talking to Anna before start the live. I think this is a great point to understand consciential attributes and consciential power. What's the difference between them? Consciential attributes is the capacity, faculty, quality, property, or potentiality of the consciousness that is part of her personal set of conscientiality, lucidity, acuity, or perceptiveness. And consciential attributes, it's important to understand the difference because they are not the consciential powers. Attributes means what which is unique or peculiar to someone or something. I said attributes is an attribute. Conscious attributes are potentialities, abilities inherent to human consciousness, which may or may not be developed. When a researcher presents a well developed conscious attributes, for example, will, it means that his attributes has become a faculty that promotes, in fact, the self determination of this individual in relation to life or his own destiny. Power is action. It is the improved use of conscious attributes. An attribute is just an attribute. An improved attribute in action becomes a power, in fact. However, according to the conscious paradigm, instead of leading to man's power over man, evolutionary intelligence proposes man's power over himself in order to reach new evolutionary levels. I think this is a, a great reflection about the issue because consciousness has its qualities, its abilities, its a millennial abilities. And when we talk about an attribute, for example, will, lucidity, self-discernment, okay, and intention, for example, you can't have one person with these attributes developed in great use or not. Sometimes you see people that they have a great self-discernment but doesn't have an energies. They don't have energy, to put in this idea or that decision in practice. Or sometimes you have a person, a researcher with a great lucidity. He or she is aware in life, but the choices are not made in a good way. So the discernment is not good. So you have attributes, but when you develop these attributes, you put these attributes in a condition of power, because as we said, power is action. You move. The power of something, you move. You use this condition to move, to do something, to develop, for example, a specialty or profession, your profession, and or your consciousness. So it's an action. I think you can put the next. Okay, so if you are talking about power, consciential power, it's very important to understand that when you talk about society, for example, society has their values. Okay, so you have to have a new car, a great house, your a big house, or in a good position of your profession, of the status of your personality, what you achieve in the life, in money or in position of your whatever. Society claims that you have to put your name or your energies in the high level that you could. So sometimes this is impossible. But these values makes the consciousness to move toward this target. They function like target. And what we are saying in our book, in this research, is that you need to make the inversion of the powers. And what inversion is this? The inversion of power. Can you put again, Anna, the slide, please? Can you put again? Okay, let me. Okay, thank you. Inversion of powers is the inevitable evolutionary stage where a consciousness recognizes the supremacy of consciential powers over temporal, political, economic, and social influences. In this context, the individual shifts from exerting control over others to achieve consciential holosomatic self mastery, focusing in self agency and inner evolution. So, by prioritizing the change from the external locus of control to the internal locus of control and the inversion of the coronal chakra subbrain, the demands of evolutionary self empowerment naturally impose themselves. The search of serenity, the qualification of the CPC, Personal Code of Cosmetics, maturity before Sirexology, and the mastery of the vibrational state, VS. In this pro evolutionary context, the conscient discovers traces of millenary burdens still in manifestation, which begin to gain full attention, leading to the correct dosage of the influence of the external world, public opinion, social values, horizontal and instinctive, and subcerebrality, vertical, in the intraconscientiality. In this slide, you can see inversion of powers. We have two axes, okay? The horizontal axis. So you will move your local of control from the external point to internal point. For example, instead of to see the status, okay, of professional, the values, the jet set, where people go, the places and the jet set, okay, you change these lose, values for you, and you move to internal reality, for your internal reality. So it's like I can remember pêndulo, Anna. You are there. Pêndulo.
Um,
Let's see.
Let me see here.
Pêndulo. I can see here for you guys. But it's like You remember the bell, here. It's like this, the pendulum. Okay, pendulum from the bell. And you have to move this pendulum, sometimes to outside of you, sometimes inside of you. But the reference of this pendulum,
Pendulum.
yeah. The reference of this pendulum needs to be you, your values, not the social values. I think this is a great change for the consciousness. And many people are sick because they are can't to achieve the social values. And there is a guy in a book, um, this guy, the status desire is the name, Alan de Botton. And Alan de Botton says that in a medieval life, uh, three centuries ago, there is not, of course, social media. There is not mobile and cellular internet, of course, and the society was levels established, and people that in the bottom of the hierarchy of the society doesn't want to become, to go to the top of the society, because there's no way. If you were born like a slave or a servo or a person that in the bottom of the hierarchy society, you can't move, you can't go up in the hierarchy society. So there's another way. So that's the way, and the people are more happy, towards happier than today, because today you see in social media person in the top of the hierarchy. So the artists, the politicians, the great companies, the executive, the CEOs, and the people start to work in a company, in the bottom of the hierarchy, wanted to become and to escalate, the escalators. So uh, the when you think about self empowerment, you are thinking about self development, and the escalators and the process that you go up. It's inside of you, the quality that is better than the before, than the so if you have a competitive ego, and you think, oh, I want to become a less competitive person. So this is a process. You have first of all understand your personality. When you are a competitive person, in which situations? And during the day, in the company, in your family, are you a competitive guy with your son, with your mom, with your dad? You know. So this is important to understand, because I knew families. No, it's not a joke. It's real life. I knew a family that the dad, the father, during the dinner, he stimulate his sons to compete in the argument. Who will win the argument in the dinner? So remember, try to imagine what is this in a family. There's no good energies, pacific energies. It's a war inside the
Like
house.
a moment that should have been of a union and cooperation, then the sharing becomes like an arena where
An
arguments
arena.
are going to be disputed. Uh-huh.
That's it. So it's too sad. It's too sad. And for them, it's a great opportunity, to develop this ability of I will win this argument. This is an argue. The family are arguing, for free,
Oh my gosh.
and is a problem. And I knew this family. I knew
Mm-hmm.
this family. And I
Well,
thought,
imagine the level of lucidity of these parents to stimulate this kind of education on their kids.
yeah,
That's very
it's
regrettable.
horrible. Yeah,
And
yeah,
when
it's
you
so
were talking, something else came to my mind because you were talking about the um, the levels in a society, and still nowadays we still have this kind of system where there is no mobility. You cannot like ascend to another level by your marriage or by your economic situation or nothing like that. In India, they still exist, the caste
yeah, the
system,
castas.
where
Yeah,
like
I have.
the in the bottom of the line, the person cannot do anything else other than clean public bathrooms. There is a
Yeah,
specific name of this kind of a caste because if they were born that way in that caste, they cannot ever change their life.
he or she will die in that position, the same
Mhm.
position. This is a problem, but it's interesting because Alan de Botton say that it's a paradox because that people were happier than people at this moment. But of course, I'm not doing any kind of apology of this past
Of
castes,
course
of
not.
course,
Mhm.
because we need to understand with these attributes of the consciousness that's comparison. People don't know how to compare with another person. You put a person inside a group, it's automatically you start to look people and say, oh, it's a good guy, it's a bad guy. Oh, this guy has a great intelligence. Oh, this is not a so good intelligence. Oh, this has great hair. This is another hair. So you compare all the time.
Oh
The
yeah.
problem is not comparing. The problem is what you think about yourself. How is your value, your self value? And the self value is very important. I wrote a verbit, is self value. It's a incito value. Like, I don't know in English, how can you
Intrinsic
say?
worth, actually.
Intrinsic worth. Yeah, like that. And it's about that, is the worth or the value of the consciousness, intrinsic of the consciousness. You see, you see, you see yourself as a consciousness. And this is the great worth. So let's come back on to the slides. Let's finish here this. Okay, you are here inversion of powers. Such an inversion may be easier for some intermissivists and extremely difficult for others. Everything will depend on the past, the serexology of each one. The more political the consciousness was, even with an advanced intermissive course, the more it will have a politicized bias in this life, and thus the more difficult it may be to achieve the self disintrusion necessary to overcome this sociological phase of always wanting to exercise some type of political social power to influence or allow oneself to be excessively influenced by public opinion. I think we can talk a little bit about public opinion, and this is a problem for the politic ego because the politic ego needs the public opinion. And many intermissivists they were politicians in past lives. And all the politicians need the public opinion. And when you were born in this life after a intermissive course, after the intervention of the evolutionary guy, um, you come here to this life with this weak trait, that is the value of the public opinion. So we have to understand this like weak trait, of course, and there are many kinds of exercises that you can do. to feel free of this imposition of a public opinion, because it's like imposition. You have your opinion, but the public opinion all the times wins in the conflict of decision you are in during the day. So, if you see you like a person with your own opinion, in your own research, and your own worth, you can become more or free, can become free from the society values and the public opinion. I think you can put the next one slide. And here we have the 21 consciential powers. These powers, as we said before, we are not talking in these powers as an attribute, okay? We are talking about the attribute becoming a power. So, for example, the first one, altruism. Altruism is a quality, is an attribute, for example, of the consciousness. And the animals too. It's interesting. It's not just the consciousness that we can say that has this kind of power. Animals have too. And there is a book we say the Revolution of Altruism from Ricard Maciej. I don't know if you have heard about, but it's a book that I recommend. 5 stars is a great book to understand the altruism. And I don't have any doubts that altruism is a great, great power when you use it. Self-organization is another great power. I don't think in evolution without self-organization. And I think that evolution is a synonym of self-organization. It's impossible you have any kind of evolution without self-organization. And self-organization serves just to thoughts, to organize your thoughts as your house, your room, your bathroom, your shoes, your pens, your notes, everything where you walk, where you enter, where you live, you have to think in self-organization. Another one power is self-coherence. Self-coherence is very important because coherence is a condition where you connect, your thoughts with your action. Because there's no power when you think for a side and act for the other side. You have to connect, to align your thoughts, your emotions, and your energies in a line, your behavior. So everything in your manifestation shows self-coherence. And another one is self-cognition. Dr. Waldo called this power as the mega power. What self-cognition? Is the cognition about yourself. So is the capacity to understand your mind, your energies, your coherence, your self-organization, your altruism, or in other words, you will think, you understand your mind, and you will study your mind in you. Is the self-cognition. It's not cognition about medicine, it's not cognition about nurse, it's not cognition about engineer, about how to do a house, how to clean a car, or how to anything. It's cognition about yourself, cognition about your vehicles. For example, the psychosoma, the develop of mental body, psycho body, mental body, holo chakra, your body. So is the great mega power.
So tell
Anna?
me here, Eduardo, In this self-cognition, could we say that both the evolutionary intelligence and the consciential energies would be included in this pillar?
Sure, sure. Why? Because when you install your vibrational state, for example, to develop the control of the energies, you need self-cognition. For example, oh, I think the energy here is not good because I'm feeling inside. If you are in a place outside, the energies here are great. And I'm talking in another example. You are in a place, in the city, and you feel, oh, the energy here is not good. Uh, what is this? This is your parapsychism. And to understand what's going on you, inside you, you have to understand the influence of the energies in your energy, the outside energies and in the inside energies. And for that, you need to understand. To understand, you need cognition.
Mhm.
So, for example, cognition to math, you have to exercise to develop mathematics abilities. But to understand you, you have to study yourself. This is the self-cognition, and energy is one example.
Perfect.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
okay. Another point is self-criticism. I think people that self-criticism too is a kind of synonym of conscienciology. Why? Because how can I understand and how can I change if I don't have self criticism? For example, why I'm studying a politic ego? Because I know that I am a guy with the politic ego. I have to qualify this politic ego to the best I can. So without self criticism, we are not going to anywhere. We are blind as from the point of view of the conscienciology point of view.
And
We are
it also
blind.
has to be something balanced because if you turn to excessive self criticism, you are going to go to the religious paradigm where you are going to be exercising sacrifice, torturing yourself, blaming yourself, and so on. And it's not about it, right?
Yeah, it's not about it, but it's important to understand that self-criticism is a positive ability. The distortion of self-criticism do what you are saying,
Right.
because the guy make a distortion, and what could be a positive ability becomes a terrible ability, that
That
the
way.
guy was all the time, I can't do this, I can't do that, because if I do this I will blah 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 blah. You are not free. You are a bad judge of yourself. It's a bad judgment. The self, I don't know in English, but I suppose that's something like that. It's a bad self judgment. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's about yourself. It's bad thoughts of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And we are here in self discernment. Self discernment, it's very important because uh, to have a discernment, you have to have lights to see. Okay, I like to make this example: lucidity and self discernment. If I turn off the light, I can see anything. So lucidity is important to have self discernment. The lucidity is the lights of your consciousness. When you are lucid, you can see. If you can see, you can use your discernment. So self discernment needs to be aware, needs lucidity. And self discernment too is a great power, because nothing is better than you can, in evolution, you can catch your mistake, and you avoid a mistake. So one self-discernment after the mistake, okay, is good because you perceived your mistake. But the great self-discernment is that you avoid a mistake. I think is another self-discernment in another level. Energetic self-mastery, a volition. Volition is the energy, okay, that moves you, and is the bioenergy that you can circulate in your holo chakra. And volition is different, the will from the will, because volition you don't have a will to eat something, ice cream, or you go to the shopping. No, it's not kind of will. It's a kind of, it's like a gas. You know, in the gas station you have the gas to fill your tank. You have here the volition. It's like gasoline. It's a volition.
It could also be compared to the stamina, right? Because when you have stamina, you are able to do anything because you have all the energy inside you that it's going to pave a
What
way for
what means stamina?
stamina.
Stamina. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it. So, energetic self-mastery is a power, is a great power, because you become a guy with the master of your, like that song, "The Master of the Sea," is a phrase from the a band. But you are the master of your sea. Self-motivation. Self-motivation is everything. If you think in terms of life, if you have self-motivation for everything, you are doing many things, and this is a great power. Self-ortho absolutism. You don't have doubts. You do what you have to do. You are affirmative guy. You know, white is white, black is black, pink is pink, blue is blue, yellow is yellow. There is no, tati-bitati. There's an expression in Portuguese, tati-bitati. The
But
person that,
what
ah,
about the grays that are in between the whites and blacks? How does it leave you? It's not very radical.
no, 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 no. Let's understand, because in evolution, sometimes you will arrive in a sea, in a way, in a moment that you have to take decisions. You know, you have
Mhm.
to take decisions, and you have to be affirmative. And this is a kind of homeostatic way of thoughts, of your thoughts. Because if you all the time you don't decide, you I don't think I don't I no, you have to decide. And
Would it
I
be
see here,
being more realistic of the situation?
yes, it's you have to have a realistic see of the
Evaluation.
life.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I mean that this person with self ortho absolutism, is that the person that's take decision. They take decision, and okay, he could come back in the position, but he took the decision. You know, he was not in doubt, or with the decide phobias.
Decidophobia.
Decide phobias.
Hmm?
Yeah, decide phobia. This is a problem for a person, because he or she never decides. You know, and ortho absolutism in life, when you are like in a moment, you have energies, you have multidimensionality, you have the helpers, you have the intruders, you have your existential program, you have your family, you have your book to write, you have your agenda in the hospital or in the company, wherever you are. And it's too many
Variable.
variables, too many variables to decide, and you
Mhm.
have to decide. So that's why we talk about self-organization. Because if you're not organized, you will decide wrong.
Mhm. And it
You
would
know,
probably have something to do with self-reliant reliance, because you have to trust yourself and trust your perceptions at that moment, because they are the best you have at that situation, and actually decide. We have also that saying, if you are just on top of the wall, you are going to get stones from both sides. So you have to make a decision, and you cannot be in the middle of the situation, right?
perfect. And I have some friends and next people, and that's why I'm talking about this. That we have to pay attention and take care, because this issue of self or out or let me can you put here again in English? Self out or absolutism. Yeah, self out or absolutism. Sometimes the person, yeah, it's self ortho out absolutism. Ortho absolutism, self ortho absolutism. The guy wants to become to take this in a strict, in a narrow interpretation, and become a guy like arrogant, because he decide. You want to talk to him or to her, and they have answers for everything, and they don't have any kind of doubts. And this is not in that way. And we are talking about important decision of the life. We're not talking in a talk common during the day, in a quotidian talk,
I could
when
say
you're
that,
talking
for
with a friend.
instance, it would be in a situation that you have like a big disaster. You have to make prompt decisions on where you are going to send the victims, and who is going to be treated in the first attention and second attention and so on. And this is a moment where you need that ability to make
And
like a kind
yeah,
of a triage. Like
yeah, let me
imagine
tell
when
you.
you have a big accident or a big disaster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is an example, but let me tell you an example, Anna. And next, it's next for us, next us
Mhm.
during the day. You enter in a company, you were invited for some meeting, and the meeting it's too heavy of energies, horrible energies. And when you open the door, wow, the energies take you, and you start like a headache, for example, instantaneously.
Mhm.
You have to move your energy. You can't. I'm talking that in this moment you have to have an excuse and leave the place. That's what I'm talking about. Why? Because you can have a problem there. You are not uh, in a good with a good energies for you in that place, and people insist to keep there, to stay there. You know,
Mhm.
and with headache and bad, and I don't know the next bad symptoms the guy will have in this place. So if you can't move your energy, you are with headache, and you don't decide, you, you decide to stay there in a bad place, for example, in a dance house
Yeah,
or in
it's
a
going to be a
restaurant.
succession of bad decisions that can end you up in a hospital because of that.
Perfect. Yeah. And then we have the example of the synalectic. Sometimes I have some synaletics the signs, my parapsychist signs
Yeah.
that show me that that place is not good. I don't go there. It's not for me. Bye bye. I'm moving my objective, my
Mhm.
purpose. 3 o'clock p.m. I'm going to the shopping and I have a sign, parapsychist sign, that's not good to go there. I don't go there,
Of course.
but it's difficult to achieve this moment or this process
It's
of
a
the
moment of
develop.
discernment, this level of
Yeah,
lucidity, right?
because you think, oh, I'm it's too radical. Oh, what's going on? Let's go there. It's just 5 minutes. I'll be there and I leave. No problem. I go there and leave. Once I
Mhm.
was going to the shopping, I have my parapsychist sign, and I didn't listen it. And I enter in the shopping. Okay, what happens? The lights of the shopping, uh, uh,
Went down.
they went down. I was locked in shopping for 2 hours
Oh my gosh.
with my car.
Mhm.
Nothing works in shopping.
Two
Nothing.
hours of your life that you lost because you didn't follow your sign.
That after that, never more I ignorize my this sign. So we are talking about self ortho absolutism. Anna, we talk about 9 consciential power. I think it's good because we don't have time to go to the others. Do you think okay, or you want to talk any other power?
You feel like you want to mention some other ones that are very important, we can extend for like 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, self-orthosanity. So the self-orthosanity, it's important because it's the homeostatic way of think. So the tothins, your tocin, the orthotocin is the result of consciential hygiene. The theme of my book is this one. Let me show you guys. This is the book. It's in English. Okay, you can buy in Amazon, and it's 19 years of research. We have a course. This course we did this course in US, in New York, Miami, and Los Angeles some years ago. And I recommend to understand the orthotoxicity, inherent self-worth. So, inherent self-worth, we're talking about this, is important to understand this self-worth. It's intrinsic of the consciousness, is a worth. You can see yourself as a consciousness, and this is a great, and the main worth. Cognition, so you have some kind of specialism. We will have here in Brazil a masterclass of how to understand your specialty in graphotoxicity, graphogescon, the grapho. I don't know in English how can you say, but is the consciential.
Um,
It's a gestação consciencial.
Consciential gestation. Mhm,
Consciential gestation. So the grapho consciential gestation
mhm.
is a masterclass September 11 with our friends Maximilian Hyman and Mabel Teles. And it's a masterclass about a course. We will show for you the course in the end of this live. But it's important to understand your specialty. What your specialty? What is your specialty? Important to understand. Communicability is everything, because if you don't have communicability, there is no way to show your research, the desassédio, how to under disunder,
The intrusion.
disintrude,
The intrusion.
disintrusion, the
Mhm.
intrusion. So communicability is ability of the intrusion. What we are talking here, what we are doing here, the intrusion, to help people understand the self powers in another way, not the way we understood in the past. Conscientiality is a quality to understand you like a consciousness. Consciential century, it's very important because you are talking about society, the society values and the society. You have to center the consciousness inside you, of inside yourself. Cosmoethics, we're talking about intentionality. So the quality when you develop your intentionality into the top is a cosmoetic way of qualify of the intention. Uh, Cosmoethical empathy, so it's near to the altruism, but it's a empathy with the person have of the best. So the empathy is not in a bad level, is in a good, in a high level. Intentionality, intentionality is a great power because your intention put you in a high dimension or in the barotrosphere. So important to qualify your intention, and this is we talk about this in consciential hygiene. And I was recording a video for a course we'll have here in Brazil, talking exactly about this. How was difficult for me before the book, before I wrote this book, to understand the relations between uh, the bad intention and the self pollution. When you talk about bad intention, we are talking about wrong way to compare with the other. We are talking
Being
about
happy with the other failure.
yeah, we are the selfish way of think, selfish all the time, for example. And the guy thinks selfish is a way to live. I have to think on me, you know, if because if I don't think on me, who will think on me? So that's why I think just on me.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
this is
but
a
do you live just by yourself?
yeah, you people that live just by themselves, and this is it's a problem. Parapsychism, it's important. Is a powerful, of the consciousness because parapsychism is intelligence, is an attribute, but two, if is an attribute developed, become a great power. You have, for example, here in the community, in the cosmetic conscienciological community, people that develop parapsychism becomes a more respectable. People listen what they are talking about, and suggestions and conselho. How can I say conselho?
Advice.
Conselhos.
Advice.
Like advices here. It's important. People listen the advices. But it's important to understand parapsychism in evolution as a tool, nothing than a tool, an important tool to to develop and to achieve more evolutionary levels in above the hierarchy evolution. And the lucidity, lucid projectability is another power because of the consciousness, because help consciousness to see him or herself out of the body, and this is a better way to see the reality of the consciousness, how we are out of the body. This is the reality of the consciousness. Can you I can move here. So we're here, we see uh, this the ethics, and the consciousness. And so what can we do? We have to understand the cosmoethic, you know, the intentionality of the universal ethical, and to develop the self-research in this figure, the illustration, because the self-research help us to develop these powers. This is an out-of-the-body experience we talk about. Reaprendência is an institution that studies this in US. So we would like to invite you to learn more about out-of-the-body experience, to participate the Reaprendência. And to finish, Anna, I would like to show this banner you have put here. Yes, this is a course in Brazil in Portuguese. Oops. Can you put again? This is a course in Brazil. The name is Autodesassédio Gesconográfico, or Self-de-Intrusion Gesconographic. Is a course of with fields with the epicenters, Maximiliano Heimann and Mabel Teles, where we help people to write their books. And now it's in a hotel, so it's a great course, you know, to help people to write the books, to put the consciousness in letters, in clarify letters. We talk clarify letters, and as a clarified task is to understand how to write the clarified task, but how to self clarify from the clarified tasks. So it's our invitation is in November. So if you have some friends in US that wants to come to Iguaçu Falls to stay with us 1 week, we can help to have a great trip and to finish with this course here in Iguaçu Falls in the with the balneário, the energetic balneário in CI. So guys, I think I would like to finish here, and I don't know if Hannah, there is another questions.
No, you can finish, make your last remarks.
Okay, so Anna, I really would like to thank this invitation, because helped me to understand something in my book, and I think I could explain a little bit a different issue that I never explained before. This I had this banner in the first Conscientiology Congress that was in last July, the end of last July, and we talk a little bit about this issue. But I think today I could have a new issue in my mind to clarify this topic of empowerment, self-empowerment. So
It's
thank you very
awesome.
much. And
When we do interassistance, new insights, new ideas, all of it happens. And we are very thankful for you. I know you are a very busy guy, and you have a busy schedule. Thank you for taking your time to be here. And I thank our followers that could assist this program. This is going to be still in YouTube. You can access it later if you couldn't see today.
oh, thank you.
Okay. And you can also find more information about conscienciology in our page. It's Reaprendência International, and our lives are in under the consciousness in evolution in both YouTube, Facebook, and also on Instagram. Okay. So thank you so much, and we are going to find again in another evolutionary journey. Okay.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Bye.